A biker true and proud, ride an iron horse that's free and wild. A biker true and proud, admitting I'm scared is not allowed. May not look so mean and tough, but let me tell you, sir, I'm no powder puff. What it takes to ride, well, I got the stuff. I got what it takes to ride. Got what it takes to ride. Got what it takes to Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of It's Never Too Late, where we believe it's never too late to follow your dreams, to have some fun, or to start something new. Last couple of weeks, we talked about the pageant and the fact that we made so many friends, and that when we travel around, we go to visit all the queens from the other states, and what a fantastic opportunity that is. If anybody is interested, NewYorkSeniorAmerica.org is the website. You can go to NewYorkSeniorAmerica.org. It's all spelled out, and you can get more information about joining. If you're from another state besides New York, it's look up Senior America. I think it's SeniorAmerica.org. You check that out and find out how you can be a contestant.
What about the website that Jennifer mentioned last week?
Oh, it's about finding about the pageants, and I don't remember exactly.
Yes.
But there is a website you can compare the different pageants and see what criteria is for each. If there's talent in one, if there's a bathing suit in the other. New York Senior America does not have a bathing suit, so you don't have to worry about that. We're going to talk about now, as Ms. New York, our wonderful state. We love New York. We're both.
Everybody loves New York.
Everybody loves New York. The best part about New York is the people, no matter where you go in New York. We're from Long Island, from the South Shore, where there's beautiful beaches. And of course, we know New York City. I lived there and I worked there for many, 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 many years, did a lot of theater there. Everybody thinks of Manhattan when they think of New York City. They think of the Statue of Liberty, the Empire State Building, but very few people think about the majority of the state, at least by area, by acreage, which is upstate. And we live now in the Mohawk Valley, and we get to ride around these beautiful roads and have the opportunity of seeing a lot of the beauty of New York. And that's the part we want to share with you.
Now, when we were on Long Island and we'd go for a ride, we'd take an hour to an hour and a half to get to some nice roads. Now, we're so fortunate that we could just pull out our driveway and we're on these nice roads that we used to travel to.
Right.
So now our ride, when I was building a camp up here, I rode my bike up. So I'm working every day, sun up to sundown. I was just working on the camp. One day I said, I had enough. I got the bike here. What am I doing? I had to go for a ride. I was gone for 5 hours. You know, I only stopped 3 times. Now on Long Island, you can't go 5 minutes. Well, I'll tell them what the 3 times were. But on Long Island, you can't go 5 minutes without stopping, whether it's a stop sign, a traffic, or a light. So I was absolutely amazed. I stopped 3 times. Once because I needed gas. Once because I got hungry.
Stop sign?
I think there was one stop sign in 5 hours.
You can just do 45, 50 miles an hour on these beautiful country roads and never hit a stop sign or a red light. When we give people direction to our house, we say, get off this exit and go to the light, which is like 14 miles down the road. And they go, well, which light? Just go to the light. You can't miss it. There's only one, the light.
You know, and every state in our country is just like this. There are beautiful roads in every state where it's very rural. The scenery is just it's just outstanding. So, you know, get out there and go see what we got here.
It's motorcycle heaven up here. It's just beautiful. Even if you just go for an hour ride, you're already on a beautiful road. So one of the things we went to upstate New York, which a lot of people don't, and it's so fantastic, we've gone there for quite a few years, is the Great New York State Fair, which is usually early September, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was around Labor Day, right, because they had a Labor Day parade there. And we went when I was reigning as Ms. New York and was treated like royalty. There is so much to see. You can spend at least 2 days there. Okay.
Well, right there, she's leading the parade. Now, the mayor was supposed to walk with her and leading the parade. But we found out later that he was walking in the back with some of the union representatives.
It was a Labor Day parade, so it had all the unions.
There he is,
Ben
Mr.
Walsh.
Ben Walsh.
Nice guy, couple cute little kids, beautiful wife. And you can see there I'm wearing a black dress and I have on pink sneakers because on the way there, I said, wait a minute. We're going to be on our feet all day. We're going to be walking. I got the parade. I'm not doing this in heels. I don't care. Sash, crown, or no sash. I'm wearing sneakers. So we stopped at a little store and I picked up sneakers on the way. And the only ones they had in my size were pink. And I thought they were cute. So
but that fair, when they call that the state fair, it's always in Syracuse. So it's a pretty long drive, especially from Long Island. That's probably why we never went. But it's well worth the trip.
Totally worth it. You can spend 2 or 3 days there and still not see the whole thing because there are things there from all around the state. And we're going to show you some of those things now. One of the things we said is the people. And we found out that they were going to celebrate Native American Day that same weekend. They had a parade on another day of the fair. And the next thing I knew, they were putting me in a cart with a Native American Indians, all in their traditional dress.
The chief. You were right next to the chief on that whole ride.
So nice. And there was a picture there of all of us after the parade. They have all their artwork that you can buy. You can buy things for $1. You can buy things for $1,000 anywhere at the fair. I want to show you these. This is what I bought. Native Americans made the earrings all beaded, and I thought they were adorable. How to get souvenir, right? So that's what I got. But they had this beautiful, beautiful artwork, and the people were fabulous. And they were telling me about their ways and their home remedies, which we're very into. And I wanted to talk about the Indian Village. They have an actual Indian village right there at the state fair. And you can go in. I thought they lived in teepees or wigwams, but they actually had this giant building. It was pretty big.
I thought that was a wigwam.
I guess they call it a wigwam, but it was huge. And an entire family will live in there. They'll have different, you take this corner, we'll take that corner, and they'll have families, cousins, aunts, uncles in this one building is how the natives lived, at least these Indians. I don't remember everyone's tribe.
No.
I don't remember everyone's tribe, but we learned a whole lot about the Indian culture and the food, and they had someone there doing the dances and singing and saying what everything meant. You could spend a good 3 hours just in the Indian village there. It's fascinating, and the people are fantastic. The next picture you saw up there was taken when they were doing the Labor Day parade with all the unions, and that was with the Teamsters. That's with the motorcyclists. Okay, and I'm standing up there on someone's bike. Tell them how you got that picture of me.
Well, we got her to stand on a bike. That was actually a woman's bike. She says, "Oh, stand on my bike." So I started calling people over with both arms. "Come on over, get in the picture, get in the picture." And I'm screaming and hollering. And there was only 2 or 3 people at the beginning. The next thing we know, you had this whole crowd surrounding her.
Right. Like 30 bikers all standing, and I'm standing on. I said, "You sure want me to stand on your bike?" She goes, "Yeah, it's fine." I didn't have my heels, of course. I had my sneakers. And that's how we got that picture. And then
But they were great. We hung out with a few of them.
We did.
Had a couple of beers,
Yeah, the president.
Union guys.
The president actually, we took a picture, but we didn't show it. He put my sashes on, and I put his vest on.
Right.
And they were great people. Great. Everybody in New York. Even when you go to Manhattan, you go to New York City, and we see people looking around like they're lost. And New Yorkers will stop and say, "Can I help you find something?" And New Yorkers are really nice. And I hope that you will come to some part of New York if you're not already from New York. One of the things that is fantastic at the fair, of course, is the food. You can go and of course it was in season. It was our farm fresh upstate corn. I could have just made my entire breakfast, lunch, and dinner out of the corn, but my husband has a bit of an eclectic taste. So where were you hanging out for? Well, you could get the meat on the skewers and things.
Meat on a stick, all kinds of stuff.
But then when we passed this area,
that one cart, they had deep fried peanut butter and jelly. I'd never heard of such a thing. Deep fried Snickers bars. They had all this stuff deep fried. I said, all right, I got to try the peanut butter and jelly. It was kind of like a Zeppeli filled with peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
And I got like half a dozen of them. I was
You
thinking
had that many?
there was only 2.
Ah!
I ate them all.
No.
Oh, they were great.
Oh my gosh. I was full from the meat. They did the skewered meat, the fresh New York steaks. We have a lot of cattle up here. And oh my gosh, so I couldn't believe he really ate that after the steaks? The steak tidbits?
What was he going to do? Throw it out? Can't wait.
Oh, I told you he likes peanut butter, right? He did the Elvis Presley pie when we were in Texas. So he had to do this. Well, they had a whole room full of cheese because dairy is huge up here. Dairy farms, it used to be even more so. There's less now than there used to be, but dairy is still big up here. Yeah. And they had all kinds of New York cheeses in this one building. And then they had a butter sculpture, which I forgot about. We couldn't find the picture.
Yeah.
It was
huge. Man, that thing must have weighed hundreds of pounds.
It had its own refrigerator with glass in front, and this gigundo thing. It was a whole butter sculpture. It was fantastic.
I never seen anything like it.
And what do we have? Oh, our next picture. So there's a lot of farmland in New York, and you will get to see every kind of animal you can imagine, even some that aren't from New York, and they'll give you can buy a little food for like 50 cents, and you get to feed the animals. And our favorite animal to feed was the giraffe. The giraffe really shocked us because it has a black tongue, a long black tongue. And when you feed it the carrot, the tongue comes out like that far.
Yeah, it's huge.
It was huge. And you get to be, the steers, the horses, and you get to pet them. Well, not the ones with the big horns. They keep those kind of separated. But you get to pet the animals, a lot of them. And then the picture that just popped up was the pig race.
Oh, the pig race. I can't believe she's never seen a pig race. So we had to go watch. And they have several races. You know, they got the big fat pigs and the little pigs. And, it was
it's adorable. Great. You bet on it. And you have, I forget how they do it, but you know, you just raise your hand.
Yeah,
who's voting for this one? Who's voting for that one? You just raise your hand, and they have numbers on their backs. And then they let them out, and then they run around the track. It's the cutest thing you ever saw. These little pigs running around with the numbers on them. It was adorable. And it was my first pig race. So I don't know where you ever saw a pig race before. We did see a pig race.
You've been around.
You've been around. You've been around. Come on, do a little Rodney. You started. Come on. Oh, no, you started. Now you got to do it.
My wife and I, we don't have sex anymore. We got undressed. We can't stop laughing. She used to be afraid of the dark. Now she's afraid of the light.
No.
Oh, she saw me naked. Then she's afraid of the light. Oh, I messed it up. See, you put me on the spot. I wasn't ready.
You got to be ready for your big
wasn't
break.
Ready. All right. You want me to talk about my daughter, do you?
No.
All right. How about my last girlfriend?
Yeah, tell them about your last girlfriend.
I'll tell you, she was a big girl. I met her at the Macy's Day Parade. She was wearing ropes. I'll tell you, I brought her to the beach. She asked me what I used for bait.
Oh, she was ugly.
Oh, yeah, she was ugly. Last time I seen a mouth like that, it had a hook in it.
Okay, you could do that all day. I still crack up.
All right, that's enough.
We were talking about the animals, not you, animal. We were talking about real animals. They have sheep shearing there. They have competitions because you raise the animals. And the saddest one.
Oh, the cow.
The cow. There was this absolutely magnificent cow. It was red, and it had actually kind of longish hair in places. It was the most beautiful thing with the big cow eyes, and it won first prize. And the young girl who raised it, I guess she was about 12, 13 maybe. Yeah. She was really young, and she was standing there, and she looked very sad with her cow. And I go, well, congratulations, that's wonderful. And she said, yeah, but she said, once the competition's over, we have to sell them. It's part of the 4-H that you have to realize that animals are sold for food. And it was really sad because
right outside the tent they had how they section off the animal.
How the butcher does it. And it was so sad looking at this beautiful animal. It's like it almost made me not want to have hamburger.
She got so attached to that cow.
Oh, we felt really
That's why
bad.
you never name your food.
No, and we named our fish.
Well, we weren't going to fish them out anymore.
Well,
there wasn't enough there anymore.
We had a little pond, and he put some fish in it, and something got to them. And I fished, and I got a big fish. and we had, it was a trout. And then we noticed that we're like, no more fish. And there was supposed to be like 100 fish in the pond. So we looked, he got a little like underwater camera thing, and we looked, and there were only 4 fish left in the entire pond. So we said, we can't fish them out anymore. And we named them. So now we can't, we know, and we can tell them by they have little distinct markings, and so different sizes, different coloring, so we know which one is which. So they're frozen under the pond now, but we hope to see
Oh
them
yes, of
again.
course we had to get fish food. Yes, so
We
we
were
feed
feeding
them.
them every morning. We go out and feed them. Oh, there's George. There's Spot.
Well, we'll see this year if they're still
If they
there.
lasted, yeah, something got to them. We hope they are. But yeah, you can't. So the moral of the story is you can't name your food. Yeah. So anyway, so we'll continue on from there. They have a room when you go in to the New York State Fair. They have this gigundo room. It's got antique cars, and it's got
the tractors too.
Tractors, and
yeah.
that, of course, he loved that. And they and they have a gigantic sand sculpture. And the sand sculpture, you can see there to the right, that's whitewater rafting. There's people whitewater rafting. And right behind me, I had to have a picture taken there because that's Lucille Ball, who was from Jamestown, New York. And they had a little sculpture of her there. And the entire thing had New York City with the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building and the Statue of Liberty. And this thing is huge. You can walk around it and see all of New York State in a sand sculpture. It's really beautiful. It's really clever. Yeah, like I said, there's just so much to see when you go there. They have another area, a whole building full of crafts. And they had all the winning crafts on display. They had quilts. They had dresses. They had all these competition winners. Crocheting, knitting. This was just one of them. You could have taken 100 pictures in there. We probably took at least 20. That's just one of the display cases. I just love that dress. It's part of the theater in me. I just thought that was fabulous. Imagine wearing that gold dress, and it was all like specific to the time period.
Oh, I think I'd feel a little funny wearing that.
You might.
Yeah,
I don't think you'd find one your size either.
Especially on the bike. Oh, could you imagine?
Oh, no, I don't think so. They also have a whole area of horse competitions. You can watch the trotters, and that was pretty amazing to watch. The guy is like a kind of like a white tux and tails, and the horse is magnificent. It goes around the ring. We got to meet one of the judges, and you could just sit there all day and watch the horse competitions. They've got that there. They had, I don't know if they had barrel racing there. Did they have barrel racing?
I'm sure at one portion
they probably did.
Yeah.
But when we were there, they had the trotters racing, and that was great. And then, of course, because I'm Miss New York, I had to take a picture by the I Love New York sign. There we go. That's, I think just as you come in to the fair, they have that sign. And I was wearing pink, so I kind of like, it kind of matched that day. And we really do love New York, and we love showing it off, and we love showing off the parts of New York that people don't get to see. How many people have gone to the state fair? It's really, really an education, and it's a lot of fun. And they have a whole amusement park area for the kids. We didn't even go to that.
Oh, yeah.
They had, all kinds of rides and the antique trains.
Right.
You could go on the antique train. He loves trains. We told you he loves trains. Well, we could go on the antique trains and walk in there. There's no end. And we spent 2 days there, and we didn't see everything. So I hope you get to go. It's usually at the beginning of September. So check it out. Come up to Syracuse and see the state fair. If you don't want to go that far, we have other fairs. We have lots of fairs around, including the Fonda Fair. The Fonda Fair in Fonda, New York, is kind of a scaled down version. There's their sand sculpture, which you could walk around in about 30 seconds. And it's got the tractor and the pig and the owls. And we saw an owl on our property. Yeah. We saw an owl in the backyard the other day. It's the first time we've ever seen one. It was really, really cool. So the Fonda Fair is a bit different. They have a truck parade.
Yes.
And it's a little loud because they're blowing their horns. If you can see that whole long line of trucks.
Look at all the queens that they have there.
And I got to meet the local queens. I got to meet Ms. Montgomery County. I got to meet Miss Fonda Fair, and all the little princesses who each have their own little competitions were all there within those pageant lines, the Miss Montgomery line and the Miss Fonda Fair line, and they all had their little court of princesses there. And that's
I think that was the mayor there too.
yeah, that was a representative, Paul Tonko, and there we are posing on one of the trucks. They're big, and I don't know how that parade had to go on at least an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And he didn't mind the noise. When they blow those things, and you've got all of them doing it, it was like, wow. And we're on the dirt, because obviously they're riding on the dirt. Was that like a raceway?
Yeah, it's a track. They have all kinds of competitions.
Yeah, it was like so, and you could just see it looked like for a mile. You see the
They have tractor pulls there. They have big monster trucks.
Tractor pulls. Yeah, that's a very upstate.
The horse tracks are usually inside.
Yes.
Where they do the barrel racing.
Yes, inside. So we saw that, and what I really liked about the Fonda Fair, which I don't know if they had too much at the state fair, they had local craftsmen, and we couldn't find the pictures of them. They had a broom maker. You could watch him making brooms from straw and tying it up and putting the handle on it. And when you see all the work that goes into making a broom, it would amaze you.
Yeah. He made long brooms, short brooms, little whisk brooms,
and all from the straw. And it's one of those dying arts, and you'll get to see that. We also saw a blacksmith. Do you have something?
I guess I'll be right back. Go ahead.
Right. You're supposed to think of those things beforehand.
Oh, yeah, I just saw it.
And we went to. They had a blacksmith there who had actually written a book about it, and he taught blacksmithing. He teaches blacksmithing, and he had nails. He had all kinds of pretty. Oh, there you go.
My horseshoe slingshot.
His horseshoe slingshot.
Ain't that cool?
Which the
custom made from the blacksmith.
From the blacksmith with a piece of leather.
And he wrote a book.
And you can see like the twisted handle. Like you can kind of see that twisted handle.
What was the name of that book he wrote?
Oh, something. I think it was just called The Blacksmith.
It was a novel. I couldn't put it down. What a great book.
It was a really cool story that he made up, and it all revolved around being a blacksmith 100 years ago or 150 years ago, back in the 1800s. And he had really cool, I don't know if that's where I got it, but they had like little hooks with like an owl in metal, or dragonfly in metal with a hook on it. All kinds of decorative things that he made besides
candle hold, all kinds of
besides stuff. Horseshoes for horses. And that was really, so I like the local fairs because you get to see the local craftsmen, and it's a different kind of feel than the big fairs. And
they had the other guy that did the thing with the paint, with all the paint, you put them on in like a water base, and all the paints floated
to the top of the water.
And then he swirled them around, and then he put a piece of paper over it, and it stuck to the paper.
Right, and he pulled up the paper and had all the ink on, in all different designs. Really cool. Yeah, all kinds of things like that. So the local.
And he was wrapping up because, well, since it's such a small fair, they saw us. We showed some interest, and he says, "All right, I'll do another one for you."
Yeah.
So
I mean, that just for us.
It's very, very personable.
And if you,
it's really wonderful.
Yeah, the people. It's the people. New York is all about the people. If you're in Fonda or you're passing through Fonda, it's like exit 27 or 28 off the thruway.
I think it is, yeah.
You can go to the St. Kateri Shrine. I love St. Kateri Tekakwitha. She is the first Native American saint, and she was declared a saint by Saint John Paul II, also a saint. And I have to show you something that I wear before we tell you more about the shrine. I always wear these medals. And this medal, if you can see it, it's kind of worn now, is St. Kateri before she was actually declared a saint. And it was blessed by Pope John Paul II, who became a saint. So it's like kind of like a double saint. And so I always wear that. It's very special to me. And if you go to the shrine, you'll learn all the things. St. Kateri, yeah, St. Kateri. And you can get, this is an actual, in the back of it is an actual, what do you call it? Relic that was touched to the tomb of St. Kateri. I got to tell you a little bit about her. She lived in the 1600s, and her father was chief of the Iroquois, right? No, chief, was he? I'll go, wait a minute, hold on. I got it. Oh, he was a Mohawk chief. He was a Mohawk chief, and she was supposed to marry. And she embraced Christianity, and she did not want to get married. And it really meant a lot to her to be a Christian. And when she was 4 years old, they had a smallpox outbreak, and she got smallpox. She survived it, but her face was left all scarred from it. And when she died, they said her face cleared up. And what happened was she became so, she also lost a lot of her eyesight. Her eyesight became very poor after the smallpox. And that's how she got her name Katri. That wasn't her birth name. Katri means one who bumps into things. And that was her actual Katri. Was her Christian name that she took. And I think it's Tekikwitha, that means one who bumps into things. And if you go to her shrine, you'll have the huge church, you'll have the round chapel where you can light candles to her. They have the Stations of the Cross that you can walk in the property in the back. It's a very peaceful, beautiful, beautiful place. And if you walk across the way, remember the well where the water was?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
They have the kind of the place where she was baptized, and it's what's the word I'm looking for? The water comes up, spring water. It's all the spring water, and they have a thing around it.
We found the biggest leaf, a maple leaf, that I've never seen.
Yeah, I have it inside. I have it inside. We still have it.
We still have
that?
that?
Yeah, it's on my nice
It's
table.
huge.
Yeah.
I never seen one that big, and that's where it came from. So it had to be something with the water.
And if you don't get...
At least I think so.
Yeah, and if you don't get up to Fonda, you can actually see her engraved on one of the doors of St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan. She is engraved on one of those big bronze doors. I think it's on the bottom on one of those panels. You'll see her there. I just feel a real affinity to her. And if you go to the shrine, you can buy little signs. You can buy rosary beads with a rendition of her picture on it. And I love this. I got this in the little gift shop. My mom loved yellow birds. She loved yellow birds, canaries, and this little plant came in it. So I got that. And it's just a super place to visit. And if you go up the road about 15, 20 minutes, you'll get to Queen of Martyrs Shrine. That's actually her birthplace.
That place was spectacular. And so it's a round church. Look at that. They can actually have 4 masses at one time.
That's all we have time for in this episode. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next week.
I hope you had a good time, and there's more of New York to see.
That's right, and it's never too late to see it. Take care till next week.
There was a dream, such a dream, just a staring at me, the stage on which I will be singing my song. Yes, I know before long I'll be there at the great. Yes, I know it's my fate.